So we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. I am so glad you're here. I see you're all still introducing yourselves in the chat, which is very exciting. Hello, Stephanie. Nice to meet you all. I'm glad you're here. A few housekeeping things before we get started. As you're probably wondering, yes, this webinar is being recorded, and we'll send you a link to watch the recording afterwards, so you can also share it with other people if you wish. And also, if you'd like, you can watch other webinar recordings, other different webinars from which are hosted by our Director of Digital Credentialing, Cheryl Grant, which is on our Badgr YouTube channel. So feel free to check out our YouTube channel. You'll find all sorts of information about getting started with Badgr, some exciting new webinars that we've just produced over the past couple months in our Badgr Luminary series, all about digital credentialing and just all things open badges, which is super exciting. So feel free to just subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's a great place to kind of catch up on all of those things that we've been doing. So, oh, hello, welcome. So glad to see you. Thank you for introducing yourselves in the chat. So excited. So as we go along, I'd love to engage with you. If you have questions, drop them in the chat or in the Q&A. Either place is fine. It's just me, so I'll try to answer them as I go along. Oh, and thank you. Stephanie's already dropped something there in the Q&A. Great. So excited. Like I said, it's just me, party of one today. So I'll try to answer your questions as we go along. And if not, I have some time set aside at the end so that we can chat about especially any specific questions that are unique to you and your use case and what you need to know. So really excited for that. All right, so let's get going. So just quick introductions about who I am. My name is Christina Decker. I'm the Education and Training Specialist here at Concentric Sky on the Badgr team. I come to the table as a former educator and a former higher education professional. I was actually just telling Cynthia that I used to work for Senior Research Foundation. And then actually prior to my position here at Badgr, I worked at a college here in Tennessee in the registrar's office. Prior to that, I was a preschool teacher. So because of my past educational experience, I have a deep love for all things learning, all things education, all things skills acquisition. So being here at Badgr now is sort of a natural fit for me because here at Badgr, we're focused on new ways to recognize learning and recognize skills. So it's really exciting for me. Anyway, that's just a little bit about me. Feel free to keep chatting with each other too in the chat as we go along. So here's an overview of what we're going to chat about today. Our journey begins with sharing Badgr's origin story, and then we'll take a look at the Badgr Pro platform, which I'm sure you're all here to see, and then we'll have some time to answer your questions. Like I mentioned before, feel free to drop those questions in the chat or the Q&A as we go along. I'll make sure to monitor that so I don't miss your questions. Like I said, if I'm not able to answer them right away, we'll chat at the end. And I'm actually going to turn my video off so you're not distracted by that, but I'll turn it back on at the end. All right, so first, let's talk for just a really quick second about Badgr's mission and how we came to be. Badgr's philosophy is grounded in the belief that technology innovation is the key to solving the social, economic, and environmental problems we face today. And we've used open standards to disrupt the status quo and to contribute to a brighter and more equitable future for everyone. That's something that we are passionate about and we're very excited about. And then before I talk more about Badgr, just really quickly, I wanted to introduce Concentric Sky, which is the company that created Badgr. So you may occasionally see references to this, and I just wanted to tell you why. Concentric Sky, here we are, going back, my slideshow wants to skip ahead. There we are, okay. Concentric Sky has been building end-to-end software solutions for some of the world's largest and most impactful organizations since 2005. Concentric Sky created Badgr to allow organizations to issue digital badges and micro-credentials to their learners. Tiny bit more context. Badgr's been at the forefront of the digital credential space, the open badges space, since its origination. Badgr was chosen by the MacArthur Foundation. Our product team was chosen by MacArthur to be the lead author of the Open Badges 2.0 specification, which by late 2015, we developed a draft version and then released Badgr as an open source reference. And then also central in the development of ecosystem at the request of Mozilla, they transitioned their Open Badges backpack to Badgr in 2019. So Mozilla, MacArthur, and Badgr have since passed stewardship of the Open Badges standard to IMS Global, where it remains today. Many of you may be familiar with IMS Global. If you're not, I highly recommend you check them out, see all the great work that they're doing. It's very exciting. So our clients here at Badgr span the globe, and they have to become long-term partners. This here is just a very small sample of organizations that have partnered with us to offer digital badges to their learners. In summary, pretty much over 25,000 organizations around the world, more than 160 countries are using Badgr to recognize millions of learners with digital badges, which is super exciting. Many of you already have Badgr accounts, most likely. So you know that getting started with Badgr is easy, but if not, if you're not a Badgr user yet, we'd love you to be. You can do so for free right now. Simply go to badgr.com and create your free account. It only takes a minute and you can start to create your first issuer and then start awarding badges right away. And then once you create your account, you'll need to, like I said, establish your first issuer. An issuer is the authority that is awarding badges. So that could be your program, your organization, your department, or your classroom, depending on your use case. And then once you've done that, you can go ahead and start creating badges, which is the fun part. We're already looking at this slide, but while we're on the topic of creating badges, whether you're just starting to develop your badging program or you're already knee deep in your badging initiative, here are some best practices tips. A logical first question to ask yourself is, what are you going to badge? What skills, what achievements, and or milestones are you going to be recognizing? This slide is just a little extra credit to give you some food for thought on things to consider as you begin to create your program. These are just a few questions to help you think about the what, the how, and the why of badging. What is the learner demonstrating? How is the learner demonstrating that skill? And why is that skill valuable in the context that it is earned? So that's just a little extra credit there for you. So before we transition over to the next part of our journey, I would love to learn a little bit about you. So let's do a quick poll. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up now. All right, so our question is going to be, have you implemented a badging program? So I've gone ahead and launched that. Feel free to answer. Just curious where you're at in your journey. Feel free to take a second to answer that question, and then I'll end the poll and share the results to see where we're at. We've got 6 of 12 participation. No pressure to answer. Just curious to see where you're from. I'll just give a couple of seconds and then we'll go ahead and end that poll and share the results. Okay. And here they are. So it's pretty split. We have some not yet, but within a year, not yet, but within 6 months. So sooner, yes, we're doing a little. And one, yes, we have a robust program. That's super exciting. I'm glad to hear that about you. This information will be relevant for all of you. And certainly if you have questions about your specific use case and where you are in your journey, just certainly let me know. All righty. So let's transition to the next part of our journey, where we're going to talk about how you can bring your badging program to life with the powerful tools of Badgr Pro. One feature that gets a lot of positive attention from our Pro subscribers is Pathways. If you're already a Pro subscriber, it's probably not a surprise to you. With Pathways, you can take individual badge awards and stack them together to map out an entire curriculum. So instead of looking at badges as standalone, a learner can follow a path and understand how their learning is linked. A pathway helps learners understand where they are in their progress towards their professional development and learning goals. It can even point to other learning opportunities and goals that the learner may not have yet considered. So with Pathways, learners can see where they've been and where they're going in their learning journey. And then something else our clients tend to love is that Pathways themselves are also stackable, so you can create an even deeper and more meaningful and connected learning ecosystem. And then after all I've said about Pathways, let me show you a few examples, which is really more interesting and exciting sometimes. And Stephanie, I do see you dropped a question there in the Q&A, which I will come to in a moment. So the first thing The first pathway example we're going to look at is from ASU. And I'm actually grabbing the link for this particular pathway so you can check it out. So this pathway, as you see, is from ASU, and it represents training for faculty to prepare them to conduct courses in ASU's sync modality is what they call it. The earner of the sync professional learner completion badge, which is here at the end. That's the final step on a pathway, the completion step, which awards the completion badge automatically. So the learner who earns this completion badge is a faculty member who has completed all of the training modules and is now prepared to create and deliver a better digital learning experience for their students. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to drop that link for the public view of this pathway. Feel free to check it out if you wish. The next one is from our K-12 friends. This pathway is from Georgia Virtual School, which is part of the Georgia Department of Education. It represents a teacher's professional development journey towards the mastery of effective blended instruction, which is also super exciting. And it's a great example of a use case. And there's the link for that of the public page. Cynthia, thank you for asking. So this is just a quick peek at the pathway, but I've dropped the links for the public view of the pathway so you can actually see it, see the entire pathway. So feel free to click on those links and check it out after the webinar so you can see even more. And then I'm just going to give you one extra example just for a fun extra credit here. The last one is a pathway from BPM Institute, which is part of Brainstorm Group. And this pathway represents a learner's journey towards a BPMP, which is a business process management professional certification. So this is an example of a pathway that represents a journey towards the achievement of a professional certification. And I've also dropped the link for that pathway in the chat. So feel free to grab those links so you can check them out after the webinar so you can kind of see some real examples of pathways and what some people are doing with them. We also have a pathway gallery, which shows off more of our clients' exemplary pathways that they've created. So I'm also going to drop a link for that pathway gallery in the chat so you can check that out. It's even more examples from across various industries. And for those of you who are watching the recording, naturally, you can't see the chat, but you can find that pathway gallery at info.badgr.com. Highly recommend checking that out. Okay, Stephanie, we are looking at Badgr Pro as an option for our leadership program. We have created a niche where the founding lacking when it comes to tracking progress through the curriculum. Yes, and we just talked about Pathways, which is really what you're going to need for that. Pathways is the tool to be able to map out, in this case, the curriculum for your leadership program. Your learners will be able to track their progress. You, as the program administrators, will be able to track their progress. So that's absolutely a feature that you will find super useful for doing that. And that will be, in terms of pricing, also a great question. Naturally, that's what everyone would like to know. So at the very end of this, I'm actually going to drop a link to reach out to contact us. So a member of our team can get with you and talk about your specific use case and provide you all that information you need. So great question. All righty. So we just talked a lot about organizing your digital badges into pathways, but there's something else you can do to create even more value for your learners, and that's aligning your badges with skills. So this helps describe why the skill is valuable within the context it was earned. Including a skills taxonomy in badges makes it easier for a badge recipient to not only communicate that they've earned a badge from your college or organization or program, but also that the credential is linked to a skill that employers are actively seeking, a relevant skill written into job descriptions, if you will. So to make showcasing these skills easier, we've partnered with an organization called MZ Burning Glass. You may be familiar with them. They're a labor market intelligence organization, probably the most comprehensive, that has identified more than 30,000 and growing individual skills that you can choose from to include in a badge. So whether the badge recipient or an interested party, anyone examining the public view of the badge can click on that skill link to see real-time workforce data associated with that exact skill. So you can see that this leads directly to data about the demand for that skill, both in terms of job titles and companies that are looking for this particular skill, which makes each badge immensely more powerful and meaningful, as you can imagine. Additionally, you can align your badges with live job postings at Indeed.com. And then even more, we also have the option to link, if you are familiar with the Open Skills Management tool or the Osment, we also have the option for you to link your custom skills library of rich skill descriptors. So if that's something you're interested in, certainly feel free to reach out to us to learn more about that as well. So you have all sorts of options when it comes to baking skills into your badges, which helps your learners by allowing them to communicate more effectively about their knowledge, their achievements, and the skills they now possess because of your training program. So viewing real-time market value data, as well as authentic job postings and the companies searching for people with that skill, gives them an additional advantage. And as I told you at the beginning, as a former educator, I naturally want to see all learners reach their potential. So to me, that's invaluable, and why I like talking a lot about it, as you can tell. Alrighty. So if you've never created or awarded a badge, I'd recommend you at least get in there, play around with it, create your account, create an issue, or start to create some badges. You might be surprised how much fun you can have. And then when your badges are ready for distribution, there are many ways that you can award them. In the free version of Badgr alone, you can award them manually, one by one. You can award them in bulk with a CSV upload. And if you're using an LMS like Canvas or Blackboard, you can also award them automatically based on various triggers, which we'll talk in a minute. With Badgr Pro, there are even more ways to issue badges, such as QR codes and claim links, which really come in handy no matter how you're delivering your training, whether it's through an LMS or in-person training or conferences or virtual training. Of course, they're perfect for Zoom webinars, which you'll actually get to experience firsthand at the end of our visit today. So stick around. You may be asking yourself at this point, but how do I know if any of this makes a difference at my organization? And that answer can be found in your analytics, because as we all know, data drives decisions. As a Badgr Pro administrator, you'll have access to a dashboard with data about your subscription usage. The analytics provide insight into the effectiveness of your program. So you'll have an overview of who is issuing badges and how often. You'll know which badges are being shared and how they're being shared, for example, to social media. And you'll be easily able to export your data to a CSV, so you can continue to manipulate that data in other ways. If you need to upload that data into a BI tool or something like that. And then to continue to monitor the health and engagement of your initiative, you'll have the tools you need for a broad organization view. A forest view, if you will, because I like metaphors. But what is a forest without trees? And that's why we also provide you the tools you need to see those trees. Thank you for sticking with me in my metaphor. Those insightful details that provide a full understanding of what's being used and how it's being used. And so that's why we provide the same data at the issuer level, just like we do at the organizational level, with even more specific individual badge and learner data. And then as an administrator, you'll also be able to manage your staff permissions. So those individuals that are involved in doing the actual work in your badging program. So you'll be able to choose how you wish to structure your organization and who can create or edit your badges, your issuers, and your organization as a whole. And of course, always we keep our users at the top of mind. So we've streamlined this process for you. And then with Badgr Pro, you'll have the opportunity, as we're chatting about already, you'll have the opportunity to organize your programs, departments, and more into suborgs under the Badgr Pro organization umbrella. So this means that your organization will have a centralized approach while still allowing individual departments, programs, and the like to have autonomy within their own issuer, which is obviously something that we like to see. Stephanie, I do see your question in the Q&A. So I'm actually going to just chat with you more at the end so we can chat a little bit more about pathways, because those are all excellent questions. And then just one quick note, Badgr Pro users who want to create a very immersive and branded experience can purchase our white label service. So this allows you to showcase organizational pride by having your branding everywhere your learners interact with your badges. And then the last feature I want to tell you about is the comprehensive learner record. So this is something exciting. The learner record gathers the learner's pathway progress and achievements and showcases them in an easily understandable view. we like to talk about the glowing success of the University of North Texas. They've really taken this and run with it, which you can see in our success stories at info.badgr.com. The same place that you can find our pathway gallery. They use the learner record for curricular, non-curricular, and co-curricular skills. The learner record provides learners with the right tool needed to see exactly where they stand and what they've accomplished. So this conquers any information overload, which is especially helpful when learners are subscribed to multiple pathways. The learner record summarizes the pathway progress for the learner, and bonus, the learner record is shareable. So learners can go ahead and share that publicly viewable record that they've curated with anyone who might want to see it, employers, college administrators, whomever that might be. So Badgr is the native badging system of two of the most prevalent learning management systems, Canvas and Blackboard, which makes awarding badges nearly effortless. And then plus, because we're deeply integrated with various LMSs, we're able to focus on meeting instructors and learners where they are. For example, talking a little bit more about our custom development partnerships, Blackboard and Canvas, that allows the option for badging automation and things like leaderboards for some gamification, pathways feature, and more. So in Canvas, instructors can associate badges with the completion of modules in their course, and in Blackboard, instructors can associate course items, assignment completion to trigger the awarding of a badge. And something super exciting coming up here pretty soon over the next couple months, we're going to have an update to the Badgr LTI tool. Currently it's 1.1, but we're upgrading to 1.3. So there's going to be even more functionality, more exciting things to come. So keep an eye out for that. So if you're using an LMS like Moodle, you can push badges awarded in Moodle to the Badgr backpack. And then if you're using Brightspace and Moodle, actually, Pathways are also able to be embedded in the learner experience. And if you're not using one of these, our team's happy to chat with you about what an integration could potentially look like. We have many clients who are using other LMSs, so we're excited to kind of talk with you about that. So, as you probably guessed, here at Badgr, we love open badges. We love awarding badges. And that's why I absolutely would not dream of having you attend one of our webinars without the chance to receive a badge of your own. So let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and get out your phones if you wish and scan this QR code. So this is one way you could award a badge to your learners, which you're just about to do for yourself, and see how easy it is and see what that process is like. And for those of you who prefer clicking a link, I've got you covered. I just dropped a claim link in the chat so that you can use that to claim your badge instead. What you'll want to do is enter your email address and then click the claim your badge. If all goes well, when you claim that badge, you'll receive some digital confetti, which is the best part, my favorite part. And it's the best kind of confetti because you don't have to sweep it up afterward. Thank you for tolerating my bad jokes. All right. So we're all different. I'm sure you have unique questions for all the exciting things you want to do with badging. So because everyone's different, it's not a one size fits all next step. We found that the best next step is to meet with one of our team members one-on-one, get to know you better, talk about your individual goals and your timelines, and answer your specific questions and unique problems that you want to solve. So the best way to do that is to contact us. So I'm actually going to drop a contact us form here in the chat, so you can go ahead and reach out right away, and you'll be connected pretty quickly with one of our team members. They're excited to hear from you. Yeah, so that brings us essentially to the end of our webinar. I'm really excited that you've all been here today. I am going to stick around for a little bit. If you have some extra questions, I will let you unmute yourself so we can chat a little bit. But if you need to go, I know everyone is very busy. Thank you so much for being here. Just as a reminder, feel free to reach out to us with our contact us form, and we look forward to chatting with you and getting to know you. Thank you so much, and happy badging.